Now, once the meeting is over, that doesn't mean that your role as a facilitator is done. You also want to make sure that you're sending out meeting minutes, and meeting minutes are a summary of the most important things that were discussed during the meeting. One way that you can do this is by using the agenda and taking notes in each section of the agenda to write down any decisions that were made, tasks that were assigned to someone with due dates, important details that were raised, resources that were shared. We want to make sure that we're capturing all of this either during the meeting in real time with a note taker, which might be the facilitator. It is typically really helpful that the facilitator is not taking notes during the meeting because it's important that they're listening and guiding the conversation. Something that can make that very useful is recording the meeting so that the facilitator can then go back and take notes based on the recording. Once you have these meeting minutes and you organize them and you make it succinct enough but detailed enough to be sent out to everyone, you can then send it out with links to the recording as well as any resources that are shared. The purpose of the meeting minutes is to memorialize anything that happened in the meeting and to also make sure that anybody who missed the meeting is able to stay up to date on all of the information that is happening. And typically you would want to send these out same day or within a couple of days of the meeting. You might also want to, after the meeting, ask for feedback from participants. It's really important that as a facilitator and as somebody who is leading the meetings, that you are asking for feedback so that you are making sure that you are meeting all of the participants' needs. Sometimes participants might have feedback around the structure of the meeting. Maybe they feel like it is too structured, especially if you're including time-boxed items and that it's too rigid. They want more of a free flow meeting. Sometimes they want more structure because they aren't able to get through everything that they need to get through. It's important to be eliciting this feedback frequently and often so that you are adjusting your behavior to what the group needs to be as efficient and effective as possible. And you also might want to follow up with future meeting times. As a facilitator, you want to make sure that you are always aware of meetings that are happening. If it was decided that a follow-up meeting needs to be scheduled, then you would follow up with the group to make sure that that meeting is scheduled. If this meeting is recurring on a weekly basis, then you might not have to do that. All you might have to do is just remind everybody that you're meeting again in 1 to 2 weeks. But you might actually have to send out something like a poll to find out when everybody is available for the next follow-up meeting if it's not on a recurring basis. And here's another example of meeting minutes that I sent out to the Copper Corridor Collab. As you can see, I linked the recording here. I also organized the minutes based on items that came from the agenda. So we had a section where we talked about organizational updates, calendar updates, and then next projects that we were going to identify. I linked all of the resources that were discussed during the meeting or that were shared in our meeting chat because we met virtually. And I even bolded one of the items that I wanted a specific team member to take a look at. So that's also something that you might want to do is make sure that you make it really clear if there are follow-up items, who's responsible for those follow-up items and what you want them to do and when you want them to complete it by.